Hi sis, my name is Lilith. So I got into Parsons with a scholarship and I thought maybe this video might be helpful to people who also want to get into Parsons. Okay, so first of all, I'm not going to Parsons, and if you want to hear the tragic backstory, probably keep watching, and if you don't, skip to this timestamp. Okay, so last year when I graduated from high school, I wasn't exactly sure what to do with my life. And then eventually I was like, I want to do fashion. So I'm from Germany, and there's not exactly any like good fashion schools in Germany. There's some, but they can't compete on an international level, I guess. So there was like 3 that were interesting to me. One of them was Parsons, obviously. Then there was Central St. Martin's in London and a school in Belgium. In Germany, university is free, so naturally my parents didn't save up for me to go to college. So going to Parsons was never really an option. But then, one fateful day, I found myself on the Parsons website and I saw that you could get a merit scholarship by submitting a really good portfolio. So I thought, this is great, I want to do this. And mind you, I didn't have a portfolio because in Germany they don't really make you do a portfolio in art class. I didn't have one, like I wasn't prepared. They don't prepare you to go to art school because they expect you to not do that. I checked the deadline and it was in a week. But I went, you know what, screw it, I'm just gonna apply. So I made a portfolio in literally 7 days. I worked until like 6 a.m. every day. After I graduated high school, I signed up for art history classes at uni in my city. Like that wasn't what I actually wanted to do. I wanted to do fashion, but that was what I was doing at the time, what I still am doing. So I went to class and I made all these pieces. I literally made so much stuff. I went to like museums to sketch statues and I scrapped everything and then I made everything new and then I looked through all of my old stuff. I don't know, it was just a lot, but I did it. I got in, I got a scholarship, but the scholarship was only like $8,000 and the tuition fee is $45,000 a year, so I was pretty bummed about that, you know? Anyways, this is my portfolio. So the first 2 pieces actually are part of the Parsons challenge. So you basically have to take one of your pieces from your portfolio and interpret it in a different way and then create something new. I based it off of this piece and I made this like collection. I'm going to get into what this is later. For the first piece of the actual portfolio, I went to Berlin for a 2-week course on fashion design pattern making, just to, you know, check it out. God, what am I doing? It's called Kreuzberg, August 2017, because the area of Berlin was called Kreuzberg, and I made it in August 2017. Basically what we did was we went to a museum and we were supposed to like get inspired or whatever. I saw this architecture model. And you know how architecture models are always like white plastic and then there's like all these different lights, so they create like a bunch of different shades of white. I used that sort of as the color palette. Also, I thought about how the passing of time is documented on the facade of like a building. I took the idea of like different generation putting stickers on like a wall, and then the next one will rip off the sticker and maybe put their own on it, maybe not, I don't know. I sort of worked with the texture of like a facade and like the white stuff that stays when you rip off the sticker, I don't know. I'm kind of sad that you can't really see it, like it's very small. The next piece is called My Generation. It's a digital collage. That's it. This piece I made when I was 12. My school basically gave us all the art supplies and just told us to experiment. And I took these like 4 plates of wood, I guess, and painted them black and then just sprayed some ink on it. I still really like it, which is weird because it's like so old. Next piece is called The Shining. So basically I photoshopped the Shining poster and added some sunflowers, and then I drew it on the street in charcoal. But then a couple of hours after I finished, it started raining. This photo looks so rubbish because I was literally incapable of taking a proper photo. It was either the bottom or the top half that was cut off. So I just sort of photoshopped 2 of those photos together and that's why it looks really choppy. But I think it sort of goes with the aesthetic of the piece. I don't know, I like it. You can see my shadow, but that's fine. I don't like this one very much. It's called Robbers, and basically as I was making it, I was only focusing on like small parts of it. I thought it would look great, but then I looked at it from further away as like a whole thing, and I don't know, I think it just looks really awkward. I literally thought this was going to be the piece that would make me not get in. This is called They Met at the Hospital and Became Best Friends. I actually made this in art class. We were supposed to like partner up with somebody and make busts of each other, but I had no friends. So I made 2 busts, and I had like a little backstory. It's basically these 2 Irish guys who have cancer and they survive and they are at the hospital together and become best friends. The name sort of says it all. These are just pages from my sketchbook. This is called Miley. It's an inside joke I have with a friend. Also, that's my dog. So the next piece is the one I based the Parsons challenge off. It's called Perfection, and I was thinking about how in Frankenstein the doctor is trying to create like the perfect man. I thought about how on social media we try to like portray ourselves as the perfect person, like the perfect version of ourselves. Like not everybody does that, but some people do that, and I just went, yeah, that way we are both like the experiment and the doctor. And I was kind of inspired by the colours of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, which is essentially an adaptation of Frankenstein. And I was also kind of looking at medical garments. This next piece is called Shout Blackbird. I just took photos of some paintings I'd done and I left them on my phone. Like in the description, you have to put like little descriptions, and I didn't have time for most of them because I literally submitted my portfolio in like the last 2 minutes or something. I said this is a way of installing my pieces and you can zoom in, which is what you can do. And because it's based off of like 2 songs, Shout by Tears for Fears and Blackbird by the Beatles, I just put some of the lyrics on there. The next piece is a dress I made. It took me so long. I sewed it, and I'm so bad at sewing. It took me ages. It's basically based off of this article I read about this girl who went to the doctor and said, I'm having trouble breathing. And the doctor was like, that's because you're fat, you should lose weight. She went home and she tried to lose weight, and then she came back and she was like, I'm sorry, I literally cannot breathe. And then he's like, yeah, but you're overweight, lose weight. And then 5 years later, she died. And it turned out she had a lung tumor. That like moved me, I guess. So I made this. For my last piece, I submitted this film, like short film that I made at school. We had to do either like write a 10-page essay or do an art or sports project. And so I made this film. I put this at the end because it has, you know how a film is like a moving thing and it has like an ending, and I thought having like a proper ending would be nice at the end of the portfolio, so the portfolio has a proper ending, if that makes sense. I don't know, it just seemed like a nice, I can't really explain it. Anyway, that was my portfolio. When I went into making this, I literally had no clue. Like, I'd never learned anything about portfolios. Everything I knew was from YouTube videos I'd seen. What I learned was basically, in terms of media and like subject, it should be very diverse. Also, you should put your best pieces in the front and in the back, and then the mediocre ones like sort of in the middle. I don't know if this is important, but I had pretty good grades. I had what would translate to the American GPA of 3.7, which I think in America it's not that good, but in Germany school is a lot harder. So it's like very good for German school, but I don't know how much they take that into account when they're like looking at your stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I hope this helped you, and I hope you can fulfill my dream of going to Parsons and studying fashion, and I'll just be over here in Germany studying art history, and in the end getting a degree that will not get me anywhere. Great, we stan. So this has been fun. Again, I hope it helped, and I might do this again sometime. That's it.